Now I want us to work on the functionality of sending an email. I want us, when we click on this email button, to send this donor an email automatically from this application. And to do that, first of all, remember at the beginning of the video or at the beginning of this course, in the pubspec.yaml file, I added this mailer dependency. Okay, so ensure that you have this mailer dependency because it's going to do a lot of heavy lifting for us to be able to achieve that functionality. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to go to the user management. I'm going to go to data, and inside here, I'm going to create a data file, which I'm going to call mail repository, like that. Right, so inside here, we're going to create a method, a feature of type void. This method is called send email, and we are going to have required string donor email, required string recipient email, required string recipient name, required string recipient phone, and required string recipient blood group. So this is going to be an async method. All right. So the first thing that you need here is to now declare the email that is going to be used to send emails to these donors directly from your application. So for me here, I'm going to use my own email, but to use your own email, don't use mine, ensure that you use yours. I'm going to send my email here, and these are constants because we do not plan on changing them. Here for the password, so you can go to this link here. I'm going to set it in the description. This is going to allow you to create app password. Okay, so ensure that you create an app password. But for that, first of all, you have to ensure that your account has two-step verification so that you can be able to be given an app password. So this is the app password that you are going to be given is going to be very important. That is what you are going to input here. It's a 16-digit code which you are going to place here. Okay, you are going to place yours here. So this is a username. You can call it username and a password. Okay, so final SMTP server equals to Gmail, and I need to pass the username and password. So this Gmail, I need to import my mailer package. So at the top, we have to ensure that we import mailer and the gmail.dat file. So then we need to create the message. So final message equals to message, okay, from address. So we pass the username there, and you type the title blood donation app, like that. Recipients.add. So here you pass the donor email because the donor email is going to receive that email. Okay. Subject is blood donation request from. Now you pass the recipient name there. Okay. And the text, so the text is quite a bit, so I'm gonna write it quickly. Fantastic. So after that, let us now try to send this message. So for that, we can add a try block here. So try, await, so send the message, and then the SMTP server. In case of an error, so on mailer exception, catch E, throw exception, failed to send emailer. So with that, we are going to be able to send our email. So finally, let us now create a provider for this class. Okay, so first we are going to add a retriever pod annotation, and then we now create the mail repository. So mail repository ref. So this is the method that returns the mail repository. So we are going to return our mail repository like that. Import the retriever pod annotation there, and here at the top we add the part mail repository.g.dat, like that. Now I can go to, let me open a new window, and I can now run that. Okay, so now we have that. I want us to create a controller, but so that we can update the state when we tap on this email button. Okay, so we are done with the mail repository. Go to the controller, and I'm going to create mail controller here. Mail controller. So class mail controller, this extends async notifier of type void. Here we are going to need to override the build method, and for the moment you are not going to do anything. So here we create the method future void send email. Okay, so it has required string donor email, required string recipient email, required string recipient name, required string recipient form, and required string recipient blood group. It's an async. So here we try, so state equals to const async loading, and then we are going to await ref.read mail repository provider dot send email, passing the properties that we need. And once we've done that, state, if it is successful, state is equals to const or async data null, like that. So in case of an error, so catch stack trace, state equals to async error is e, and stack trace, and then return false. So this is we are going to change this to bool, and here we are going to return true, like that. So since we need to create this provider and we are using the generator package, so this, instead of async notifier, we are going to extend mail controller. We can use the Riverford annotation here and add part mail controller.g.dat. Again, let me run build runner again. So that has created the mail controller.g.dat file. Here it is, and we have our mail controller provider here. Nice. So now with that, since we have created that, I want us now to think about when we click on this email, we want to do some few things. First, we want to send notifications. We're going to notify this user that they have sent a request, and also the donor, they are going to receive a notification telling them that they have received blood donation request. So to do that, we are going to go to user item. Okay, let's go to user item. So this user item, we are going to work mostly on this elevated button, on this on pressed. So when it is pressed, we are going to perform some specific activities. Okay, so also remember, when a user opens on this donors emailed, we need to load the donors that they have emailed. So to do that, first of all, we are going to go to the Firestore repository, and inside here, we are going to add a few methods. The first method that I want us to create is the method to save the ID of that user that was emailed. And remember, also the donors need to know the people that emailed them, okay? I'm going to create a method here, a method called save IDs to database. And here we are going to save the ID, required string recipient ID, and also required string donor ID async. So here we are gonna access the firestore.collection emails.doc recipient ID .collection users emailed.add. We want to add the donor ID and set its value to true, because remember, these people can send email to several people, or these recipients can send emails to several donors. Okay, that's why we just want to save their IDs, and then we can use those IDs to access the data of these donors later on. Again, we also need to do the same, since the donors also need to know the people that emailed them. Again, now we are going to save this, the donor ID, then node is going to be the donor ID. So the recipient ID, the value of true, like that. The other method that I need to create is a method for adding notifications now. So add notifications. So we have required string recipient ID and required string donor ID. Also, we are going to add a specific notification, and for that I'm gonna go to the domain and I'm going to create a new class which I'm gonna call app notification. And here we are going to define how our notification looks like. So that is how our notification class looks like. So here we're also going to say required app notification like that, async. So here we are going to await firestore.collection. So the collection is going to be called notifications.doc $id .collection user notifications .add app notification .to map, like that. Again, we can also do the same because we need to save these twice. Also need to save now these to recipient ID, the same path, etc. And since now we have added notifications, we also need to read notifications. Okay, again we are going to create another method here, a stream of type list of app notification called load notifications, but you want to load notification for specific users. So I want to pass the user ID here, and I want to return at firestore.collection notifications.doc user ID .collection user notifications.snapshots.map query snapshots snapshot.docs.map doc app notification from map doc data to list, like that. You're also going to need to load, since we saved the IDs of the people that have emailed us or we have sent emails to, you also need to load those IDs, and then you are going to use those IDs to display the information of those users. So stream is going to be a list of string because IDs are strings, so it's going to be a list of string, and this method is called load emailed user IDs. Again, we are going to load for specific users. So user ID, we are going to return firestore.collection. So the collection that we are interested is these emails. Okay, .doc the user ID .collection. Again, the collection that we are interested in here is these users emailed, like that. .snapshots.map query snapshot. Here we return query snapshot.docs.map doc, then return doc.data.keys.toList .expand keys, return keys.toList. We need to create now providers for these two methods here. I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, I'm going to run the build runner again, and with that our providers have been created successfully. Okay, so before we continue here with this button, we need to go to the controllers. Okay, since in the Firestore repository we have created this method of adding notification and saving IDs to database, we need to update the state, and we need to ensure that the loading indicators is still active while these processes are taking place in the background. So I need to go to the controllers, and I'm going to create a new file which I'm going to call Firestore controller. Okay, so it's a class Firestore controller. So again, like we did in the previous, so it's going to extend async notifier of type void, and we are going to override method, and now we are going to create now this method, a feature of type void, save IDs to database. So this method, save IDs to database. So let me create the other method of adding notifications. So this is our method add notification, and it's going to update our state respectively. All right, so now that we have that, we have been able to create these two methods, and I've created this controller. Here, what I can do is that since I want to auto-generate the provider itself, I'm going to extend Firestore controller like that. I'm going to add a river pod annotation here, and I'm going to add part firestore controller.g.dat. Now with that, I can now run the build runner again, and with that, our errors have been eliminated.